Now, WJC's Purple Playbook, brought to you by M&T Bank.
Welcome into Purple Playbook. I'm Alex Glaze, joined as always by two-time Super Bowl champion Torrey Smith. Kind of in the dog days of the offseason right now, getting ready for the Combine next week. But Torrey, a big week this week. Get introduced to the new coordinators. What'd you think? First impressions, two guys you know, in Anthony Levine and Anthony Weaver. But Declan Doyle, the new guy in town, just what'd you make of the coordinators?
I thought, first of all, starting with Declan, I thought he did a great job of just being confident. That's what you want to see out of a young guy coming in. Everyone's going to judge him. What is he capable of? What does he truly know? And most importantly, can he lead? I think he was very strong in what he said. I didn't think it was anything that was seen as offensive, depending on who the person that's listening is. However, I do feel like he put himself in a great position starting off. As for Anthony Levine, a.k.a. Co-Cap, and Anthony Weaver, it was business as usual for them. I thought I was definitely proud looking at I didn't get to see it live. I saw the clips, having an opportunity to see Anthony Levine Sr. in that light. It was really cool just to see the transition from player to coach to now where he is. I'm extremely hyped for him.
Yeah, we're going to talk about those guys in just a little bit, but we're going to start with the offense and Declan Doyle. The big question everyone wants to know, how is this 29-year-old gonna lead an offense, and how is he going to lead Lamar Jackson, who is also 29 years old? Now, Declan Doyle said that he's had limited contact with Lamar, just got in the role, but they've exchanged a couple texts and got on a couple Zoom calls. But Declan says that relationship is growing, and he spoke about how that is going to develop over the next couple of months.
Got a chance to visit with him then, have had a chance to visit with him a few more times since then, exchanged some texts, and certainly very excited about the caliber player he is, but also just in all the conversations, his willingness to listen, his hunger to learn, his hunger to grow. I think he is a guy with a growth mindset that, he's played at a really high level, and still I think that he wants to continue to work and feels like he can get better. And so me and the rest of the staff are really excited to chase that with him.
This feels like it's a fresh start for Lamar, and Declan Doyle right now is staring at a blank sheet of paper, because when you're talking about a coaching staff, it's all new guys in there. Even Lamar's guy, T. Martin, is out now, so the new quarterbacks coach knew everything around Lamar. What are you expecting in year one from Declan Doyle and Lamar Jackson?
And the bigger thing is, and I actually love it, is because I've been a part of a shakeup where coaches and players have been kind of comfortable, right? I think there is a lot of value in being comfortable, having your same coordinators, having your same coaches. However, in this case, you do have a young coordinator, but it's not so much about him. He's going to be the guy calling the plays, right? Football is football. People are going to be able to respect the X's and O's. It's going to be about how he truly leads and who's his position coach and what they're able to do to truly get him over the hump. You spend more time with your position coaches than your coordinators, right? I think that's something that people from the outside don't really know, right? And so I think for Lamar specifically, Lamar's going to play well wherever he is. However, there's a new staff that he has to prove himself to, in a sense. And I am using the word prove when it comes to Lamar, because the way Coach Harbaugh allowed him to lead may not be the same way this next staff is comfortable with, right? Just because it worked great for Lamar doesn't mean it works for this new staff. So I think sometimes, not that you have to reinvent yourself, but I think it's a great opportunity for Lamar to step into a new role, get that new challenge, right? That new flame to burn to help get him to where he wants to go, eventually being a champion.
And obviously a lot of the conversation around Declan Doyle is his age, right? 29 years old, but this is going to be his 11th year coaching. He's been around a lot of football, and he's been around football for a long time. When you are thinking about what this Ravens offense can look like, he's breaking it down to the studs right now. He's going to rebuild it around number 8, right? And the weapons that this Ravens offense has. What are you expecting to see, knowing that he has worked under Sean Payton, Ben Johnson, and coaches like that in his past?
Well, you mentioned two coaches, Sean Payton and Ben Johnson, that make the quarterback's job easy, right? When you watch it, it's oftentimes you see their systems, and there's no disrespect to the quarterbacks that play in them, but you're watching them, and it's like, hey, these guys are doing extremely well. Well, what that tells me from the outside looking in, that they are building to that quarterback's strengths. I think you kind of saw that a little bit in Seattle, right, with what it looked like with the top QB in that class at this point winning that ring in Sam Darnold.
That's a take.
And Sam Darnold, that he's able to go and get it done, but he was able to play some of the best ball of his career the last couple of years, including in Minnesota as well. So I think for Lamar, man, it's just going to be – Lamar is the most talented player in the league, right? He just needs to be with someone who's going to help bring him along and challenge him to be better. That's always been the case for him. I think it's just business as usual, and with time, their relationship will grow, but Lamar Jackson, a football player, never truly changes. He is the best player in the league.
Well, you're talking about some changes, one that could and probably should be coming in the next couple of weeks. We're going to find out. Is Lamar showing up for the voluntary portion of the offseason? Declan Doyle, in a roundabout way, was asked about player participation, of course, so it seemed like that was kind of pointed at Lamar. But here's what Declan said his expectations are for players reporting to the voluntary portion of the offseason.
If you want to say that you're going to win a championship, you want to say that you have championship standards and those are your goals and your expectations, certainly that's going to take work, that's going to take collaboration, that's going to take the beginning of building the relationship with their coaches, other players, starting off this next regime on the right foot. And so that would be those guys getting in here, us being able to work with them hands-on and be able to kind of get this thing going in the direction that we want to, and making improvements so that we set ourselves up where when we come back in for training camp, we hit the ground running. We already have kind of shared knowledge, shared language, and we're able to go right to work.
All right, you heard from Declan. New coaching staff, new scheme, new language. Are you expecting Lamar to show up to the voluntary portion of the offseason?
No. I'm not expecting him to show up. He hasn't showed up yet his entire career, yet he's won 2 MVPs. So, and he's been a part of new offenses as well, and he hasn't shown up. So I don't think that's a part of his offseason routine. However,
do you think that could throw things off for, as Declan's trying to establish a culture and Jesse Minter even trying to establish a culture?
It does, but it doesn't. And the reason why I say it does is because you can get in early, you can get a little bit of a jump on the playbook. Regardless of how players put it, it's not the same as learning the playbook when you're there and you're able to talk about it on a daily basis and you're able to go out there and iron out some of the certain kinks. Like the best part about the offseason that I remember from being there, because I was a guy that, I had bonuses as I got older. I was going to come anyway. I lived where I was. I wasn't a baller. I ain't have homes in multiple places, right? I was stuck where my team was. But honestly, it helped me to get comfortable with the offense, and then you kind of figure out what you do well, what you like well, and kind of figure that out going into the season. For Lamar, I wouldn't be surprised if he pops up at some of the OTAs, but I just don't see him changing his entire offseason. And there's phases to the offseason, so I think that's important for the fans to know before we sit here, because we are going to be on this show in a few weeks. We're going to say, man, Lamar didn't show up. And then we're going to say the same thing a few weeks from then. So I'm just trying to tell you ahead of time. However, the early portion, and you get more time because it's a new coach.
Right.
April 6th. Yeah, you just running around, working out. Like, it's not as big of a deal. When you get to the OTAs, that's the biggest portion. When you can toss the ball around, you're able to work, you're able to compete against the defense. That's when you have to question when he'll be there. And based on what history said, I don't see him being there, but I mean, it would be helpful if he was.
It sounded like a challenge, though, from Declan, right? Coming in day one saying, if you are saying you want to win a championship, you're going to show up and you are going that championship mindset. It sounds like that's one of the pillars that Jesse Minter's trying to establish.
Yeah, I think that does make sense, though, right? Like, the majority of quarterbacks in the league do show up for OTAs. Now, a lot of them may not be there in the early portion of workouts, but for OTAs, the actual 9 workouts, whatever that number is, most of them do show up. I'm not saying most, because not all of them. Yeah. Most of them do show up.
Well, we're going to see in a couple weeks, like you said, and we're going to talk about it either way. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we're talking defense. Anthony Weaver back in Baltimore for his 3rd stint with the Ravens. We're going to hear from Weave and what he is expecting to bring to that defense when we come back.
This is the Purple Playbook, brought to you by M&T Bank. The Winning Prognosis, brought to you by LifeBridge Health. Care bravely.
And welcome back to Purple Playbook. I'm Alex Glaze alongside 2-time Super Bowl champion Torrey Smith. Torrey, let's talk about the defense now. Anthony Weaver back in Baltimore for the 3rd time to lead this Ravens defense. He was a finalist for multiple head coaching positions this cycle. He was a finalist for head coaching jobs last year. Ultimately, obviously, did not end up getting those jobs, but he is back in Baltimore now and spoke about the candid disappointment of not landing a head job.
I'd be lying to you to sit here and say that I wasn't disappointed that I didn't get a head job. But ultimately, I just came back to, why am I doing this to begin with, right? Selfishly, I'm in it to try to win a Super Bowl, right? To be part of a group that's forever, right? So just like you had the 25th anniversary of that 2000 team this last year, like I want that. I want to be a part of that. Secondly, like I'm here to serve, right? I'm here to serve players and help them reach whatever God-given potential they have. I don't need to be a head coach to do that. I can certainly do that from this seat. And incredibly proud to be the coordinator here in Baltimore, because I think if the defensive coordinator to me in Baltimore, that's like the main defensive coordinator in the National Football League. You're the dude, and I feel that way about this job.
Anthony Weaver obviously knows what it takes and what it means to be a Raven as a player and a coach here. Just Torrey, for him to come back, he's not going to be calling the defense, right? Jesse Minter is going to be doing that. But what do you think Weave is going to be bringing to the Ravens when it comes to, I mean, he's the old guy in the room. I even kind of teased him about that. 45 years old, he's the old guy. What do you think he's bringing to the Ravens?
I think it's leadership. You know, he's been there. He's been there, done that, right? As a player and even as a coach, right? He's been a coordinator now. So I think for him, it's just an opportunity to go and help introduce these new coaches to what it truly takes to be a Raven, right? They have a guy that's been on the inside in all phases. So I think that's unique. That understands the city, that understands the expectations, that understands the owner, right? That understands what this fan base wants. So I think it's great for him. Would you like to see him call the plays? I'm sure as a coach you would like to do that. However, his job doesn't change either way. And I think it's important to educate people on how the coordinator jobs work in general. There's different people that work together. The coordinator just simply executes it on game day and kind of helps to craft the vision, but there's other people that do it. For example, when I was on the offensive side, Cam Cameron may have been the person that's calling the plays. However, Jim Caldwell may install red zone, or Jim Hostler may do third down, right? They all work together to try to create the best plan for the weekend. So I think in this case, it's not like Weaver's talent is going to be wasted. In fact, I think allowing him not to call plays allows him to be that voice and that leader that the guys need on the sideline on a consistent basis. He's basically going to be kind of like the head coach.
And with Jesse being the head guy, I mean, during the week, he's dealing with administrative stuff. So Weave is still going to be leading that defense, at least during the week. Just on game day, the jobs change. Mm-hmm. But now, you know, we're talking about Weaver. The last time he was here in Baltimore was 2023 when the Ravens had the top defense in the NFL. And I mean, I think it's fair to say they were a feared defense, and they've fallen short of that standard over the last couple of years. And Weaver spoke about what it's going to take to make this Ravens defense be feared once again.
The one thing I know is just having been with so many of these guys prior, like they have that. It's ingrained in their DNA. Otherwise, they wouldn't be here. So we're just trying to get back to that standard. You know, I don't know what happened the last 2 years. I know when I turn on the tape, there's still a lot of things you get excited about. We just got to make sure we're more consistent in those actions to get back to where we want to be.
Obviously, injuries played a big part in last year and the past couple of years. There's been certain things that have happened. But what do you think it's possible for a quick turnaround when we're talking about on the defensive side with Jesse and Anthony Weaver trying to fix things?
Yes, I think the number one reason is there's going to be healthier players on the team, right? I think. I don't want to be a hater in a sense with what I'm about to say, but I think we overrate coaches at times. I think we have two great defensive coordinators here, but I always say if you show me some guys that can physically rush the passer, I'm going to show you a genius DC, right? You show me some guys on the back end that can cover and got a pass rush, I'm going to show you an elite defense. And so now you have kind of a puppet master back there that's able to call the plays, put guys in different spots. Like, that's when it truly transforms. So to me, I think Eric DeCosta is going to have to go out and find some better guys to pass rush. You're going to have to find some players that are healthier, and you add that to the knowledge that these guys have in the scheme they run. I think that's what leads to an effective defense.
My only pushback would be just the only example that we have when we're going apples to apples here would be Odafe Owe, right? Leaving here with 0 sacks. We know what the first half of his season looked like last year. He goes to the Chargers. Jesse Minter starts working with him. He ends the year with 7.5 sacks. So I think you can have your opinion about coaches.
Did you watch all of them? He was winning individually.
You can have but it's just coaches putting guys in position. It's scheme putting guys in position to win.
He was getting off the block better out there, and some of them sacks took 9 seconds. On the flip side of that, here he was getting whooped like one-on-one, but he also just didn't get home enough. He'd be right there, but he just couldn't finish. So I think it's a combination of it, but I'm glad for Odafe that it worked out over there for sure. But I'm not going to say that it was because of the scheme. I think they had a better front when it came overall to pass rushing than over here. He had to be the hero by himself when everyone got hurt on him, right? And it wasn't fair to him. So you go out there, you fit in more, you're able to play your role. I think it worked out in his favor.
You think he comes back to Baltimore?
No.
Free agent. I mean, no?
No. He wouldn't want to come back at this point. Like sometimes you get a chance to get a fresh start. And I think for him as a player, obviously, if the dollar makes sense, he's coming back. But to me, I feel like sometimes when you leave and you get to see what it's like elsewhere, it kind of motivates you to want to test the other side and see where people truly value.
All right. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we are playing Something or Nothing. You're watching Purple Playbook.
This is the Purple Playbook, brought to you by M&T Bank. The Bottom Line, brought to you by M&T Bank.
And welcome back to Purple Playbook. It's time for Something or Nothing. I'm going to throw out a headline, Torrey, and you tell me if it's something or nothing. Let's start out in the Midwest. The Chicago Bears could potentially be on the move, moving to Indiana. It'd still be the Chicago Bears, but be playing in Indiana. Do you think that's something or
It's a whole lot of something to it, and I was surprised when I saw that headline. I'm like, wait, that doesn't make any sense. However, this is where politics come into play. If you keep playing around, these owners will use their leverage. If they can't get their new stadium, which leads to more revenue for them, like they will go and look elsewhere. But this, to me, with the true threat and the opportunity that exists, all this means is Chicago's going to get their head out of their tail. And they're going to figure out a way to go get it done.
Yeah, I think so. I think there's just something about the Chicago Bears just need to be in Chicago.
Yeah, that would be. I couldn't even imagine. It's not even like they're like that close where it's like Ohio where Cincinnati where you can kind of go right across. Like it's not like that.
No, I can't see it.
I can't see it at all.
All right, next up we're going to talk about another quarterback. Patrick Mahomes gets a restructure to help out. Free up some cap space for the Chiefs. Do you think that's something or nothing? Mahomes obviously going to be out for a significant part, if not all of this year, as he comes back from his knee injury. But doing some team-friendly stuff to help out the team.
I love the word team-friendly when you already have a 10-year fully guaranteed contract. But he's going to be helping his team out. That's to maneuver around the fake salary cap that we like to talk about on the show. But I hope that he heals up here soon and that it does help his team out. They're going to have to bring in a quarterback that's going to have the ability to play. The timing of when he tore his knee definitely leads you to think like he has to be smart. The only thing that plays into his favor is that he plays quarterback, which there have been some quarterbacks, Joe Burrow, some other guys who torn their knee and they made pretty quick turnarounds. But this is something that we knew was going to happen based on his contract, and he's not going anywhere.
And of course, the folks here in Baltimore, a lot of rational responses when you see this news this week as the Lamar contract situation continues to loom. Got to ask you, I mean, getting close to that March deadline.
It's going to happen.
Okay, you're still holding on. It's going to happen.
I'm still holding on. That's going to happen. Absolutely.
All right, last one here. Lane Johnson returning next year. How about that? Is that something or nothing?
Something. I love Lane. That's my guy. One of my favorite teammates that I've had with the Philadelphia Eagles. Great leader, man. Great player. Super funny. So for him to come on, play in Philly one more year, I'm excited about him, man. Future Hall of Famer there, right tackle. I mean, 14 years sounds crazy at that position. And, he puts his body through it in the offseason. So I'm excited that he gets to get one more to try to finish it on out of Philly.
14 seasons. Do you think you could have,
No, I
14
didn't
years.
my body,
hold on.
My body didn't even survive. I couldn't even finish at 9 with this bum knee.
I was going to say, you had it mapped out, though. Did you ever, how deep did you have your career going? Like when you were laying it all out?
The goal, once I realized I was actually going to play, and I was playing in, the goal was to get to double digits, to 10. And so I stopped right at 9.
Gosh, his body, that's got to be,
he puts it.
If you watch how trenches.
Watch how he trains, man. He puts his body through it. So he's earned everything. You know what I mean? And I'm excited for him again, a future Hall of Fame player.
And I think that the only reason why you come back is if you feel like your team has a shot, right? Like you're not just coming back at that point for fun. Like you think you have a shot to win another Super Bowl.
You think you have a shot, and then probably making $20 million. So.
Well, that's not a bad reason.
I'm coming back for year 14 too, baby.
Yeah. All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we are going to wrap up the show. You're watching Purple Playbook.
This is the Purple Playbook, brought to you by M&T Bank. Now, WJC's Purple Playbook, brought to you by M&T Bank.
And welcome back to Purple Playbook as we wrap up the show. Big week next week, the Combine. Torrey, obviously you went through the process. Just what is this week like for guys? The Terps have a couple guys going. What's this like as you kind of get ready? This is, the biggest audition of your life.
Yeah, it's the biggest audition. You're working out, you're training. The guys are all somewhere training right now, normally in warmer places, Florida, Texas, Arizona, and they're trying to get ready for one main drill, which is the 40-yard dash for the skilled guys, getting ready for the bench press and all these different tests. And while you're there, all of these teams are interviewing you. It's the biggest job interview of your life, and they literally set you up for failure because all they do is put you in a whole bunch of meetings, hurry up and wait, sit around all day, and then they try to get you to test to go and do your best. But it's a really cool opportunity, and dreams and guys will be known from this event for sure.
We have less than a minute. Did you catch it? I'm trying to remember.
Yeah, I did everything at the Combine.
So did the quarterback set you up, or did they take care of you a little bit?
I had a couple bad passes, but overall it wasn't.
That's my.
I remember
stepping
stepping on a cone and messing up one of the quarterback's routes. He threw a great ball, but I stepped on the cone and rolled a little bit.
That's on you.
Yeah,
it worked out for you though.
All on me, yeah.
It worked out. All right, well that's gonna do it for this week's Purple Playbook. For two-time Super Bowl champion Torrey Smith, I'm Alex Glaze. We do this show every week. Next week, we're gonna talk Combine. We're gonna hear from Eric DeCosta. We're gonna hear from Jesse Minter. And of course, we're gonna talk Lamar Jackson, that contract. I'm sure that's gonna get brought up in Indianapolis. We'll be back next week.